Hello, everyone. Welcome to The Progressive Vibe. I'm your host, as always, Dottie. Today is June 6, 2021. This is Season 4, Episode 7. And today's title of this episode, False Bipartisanship. And yes, in today's episode, we will be discussing a Politico article that reads, Biden rejects another GOP infrastructure offer. So we're going to be talking about infrastructure negotiations between the Democrats and the Republicans, where it all stands. But before we get into today's main show, I wanted to do my listeners check-in. I wanted to thank all the listeners out there who like, share, and donate to the show. However you choose to support the show, it is greatly appreciated and well received. By sharing the show on social media, that is the most effective way to get our message out, and it's all totally free. So it's definitely a win-win on that. If you have something you want me to discuss on the podcast, you can use the hashtag TPVibe on Twitter. If you want to stay in touch with the show, you can enter your email address in the stay in touch box on the podcast website. I will be getting into that in a moment. And also, if you want to help us make the show and sustain future episodes, become a monthly supporter on the show's website. The show's website is The Progressive Vibe 184-970-366.wordpress.com. That is if you want to become a monthly supporter. If you don't want to do that, hey, just simply check out the website. It's pretty cool. It's still a work in progress, but I do like it so far, and I hope you guys will as also if you haven't already checked it out. If you want to make a one-time contribution to the show, you can do this on the show's Cash App. The show's Cash App tag is Dottie92. That's DAHDEE 92. And let's get into today's podcast plugins. The first one is WordPress.com. So if you want to turn your podcast into a blog to help grow your audience, WordPress.com is the place to do it. And also, this podcast is sponsored by Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm is the easiest way to make a podcast. If you want to learn more how to make your own podcasts, you can go to Anchor.fm to learn more to get started. And on that note, guys, let's get into today's show. So let's jump right into this article. This is out of Politico. It reads, Biden rejects another GOP infrastructure offer. So it goes to read, President Joe Biden rejected a slightly higher infrastructure offer from Senate Republicans on Friday, the latest setback for bipartisan talks. So before I continue reading this, guys, I wanted to put some context on the slightly higher infrastructure bill offer that the Republicans proposed. Senate Republicans came up to about $300 billion in new spending in their latest offer. So again, it was a slightly different adjustment that they had previously with the Biden administration. But it goes on to read, in a phone call with the president, Republicans-led infrastructure negotiator, Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia outlined a new plan with about $50 billion more in spending than the group's last offer of $257 billion, according to the White House. It was Biden and Capito's second meeting this week, and they agreed to speak again on Monday. Quote, the president expressed his gratitude for her support and goodwill, but also indicated that the current offer did not meet his objectives to grow the economy, tackle the climate crisis, and create new jobs, end quote. The White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, said in a statement. He indicated to Senator Capito that he would continue to engage a number of senators in both parties in the hopes of achieving a more substantial package. Capito had offered an infrastructure proposal that totaled $928 billion in spending over 8 years, but only about a quarter of that was new spending. The offer came after Biden lowered his initial $2.3 trillion demand to $1.7 trillion, and the White House pushed Republicans to come up with $1 trillion in new spending. While the White House and Senate Republicans have spent weeks negotiating, both sides remain far apart on the top line, along with the pay-fors and the definitions of infrastructure. The White House had outlined a plan to pay for the package by readvising the 2017 tax bill, increasing the corporate tax rate to 28% from 21%, a non-starter for the GOP. During his meeting with Capito on Wednesday, Biden suggested negotiators could instead impose a new corporate version of the alternative minimum tax set at 15%. He also called for $1 trillion over current spending levels, which Republicans view as a step in the wrong direction. Senate Republicans have proposed paying for the infrastructure bill through user fees, meaning the American people is going to have to pay for it, and unspent coronavirus relief money. But Democrats are rejecting that idea. Following Friday's phone call, a spokesperson for Capito said to discuss the Republican infrastructure framework and the Biden administration's proposal, but did not elaborate on the details of the conversation. The ongoing discussions come as progressives are pushing for Biden to move forward with the so-called reconciliation process, which would allow Democrats to pass the infrastructure package without Republican votes in the Senate. Speaker Nancy Pelosi has said she wants to pass a bill by July 4th, and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer suggested recently that the Senate would be working on an infrastructure package during the month of July. It goes on to read, guys. In her statement late Friday afternoon, Psaki said that Biden had also spoke with Representative Peter DeFazio, chairman of the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee, and the president offered his support for the committee markup of a surface transportation reauthorization. The president and the chairman, DeFazio, agreed on the benefits of continued engagement with Democratic and Republican senators as the House work on infrastructure advances this coming week, Psaki said. Even as liberal Democrats are pushing for Democrats to go at it alone, it's not clear that Senate Democrats have the votes at the moment for reconciliation. Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat out of West Virginia, told NBC News this week that he did not think the Democrats should move forward without Republicans on infrastructure. And I will post this article, guys, as I always do with the show, so you guys can check this out for yourselves. But my questions to the listeners is: do you think it's a smart idea for Biden and the Democrats to keep stalling on their agenda to search for bipartisanship? Because that's pretty much what it seems like they're doing. It seems like they're hoping that the Republicans are going to offer something better than what they're offering, which they've given no indication of doing so. Obviously, the Democrats wanted to have something. I want to say the Democrats and the Republicans, if I'm not mistaken, wanted to have something by Memorial Day. They wanted to come up with an agreement on Memorial Day. Now it's all of a sudden been pushed to July 4th. So to me, it just seems like the GOP is dictating the negotiations here, and they are in the minority. And it's just so crazy that the Democrats are negotiating like they are the ones that are in the minority and they are in the majority. So I don't know what the hell is going on with that, but that's question number one that I have for you guys. The other question is, do you agree or disagree with Senator Joe Manchin comments? Thinking Democrats should not move forward without Republicans on an infrastructure bill. And also, do you think that these negotiations have have any actual substance for the American people? Because it doesn't seem like it. It seems like both sides are just taking their time with these so-called negotiations, and each party has their mind made up. And so somebody has to make a move. And the Republicans seem to already have made their move. They don't support Biden's infrastructure bill the way it is. It said in the article, guys, that Biden even negotiated down his infrastructure size, and the Republicans still didn't want to do that. The corporate tax rate was at about 35%. It needs to be in the high 30s. To me, in the low 40s, if you're asking my opinion. But he's trying to, look for this again, this false bipartisanship by inching the corporate tax rate up, and the Republicans don't even want that either. And so they don't want Biden's agenda to be successful. So they're continuing to filibuster it. And Joe Manchin seems to be in lockstep with the Republicans and Kristen Sinema. But I'm going to get in a little bit more of that in my breakdown, in my analysis of the article in the second half. But those are my questions for the audience, guys. What do you guys think about the article? When we come back, we're going to have our social media break, and then we're going to have the second half of the show. Stay tuned, guys, and we will be right back. Welcome back, guys. This is the social media break of the show. Let's get into this, shall we? So this is from Robert Reich off Twitter. He says, "Say it with me. Protecting the right to vote is more important than protecting the filibuster." I think he's spot on. I mean, let's just be real, guys. If we don't end the filibuster, or at least reform the filibuster, we're not going to get any key legislation passed that the majority of Americans want passed in this country. Like, let's just be real. There's not 10 Republicans that are going to co-sign with anything that Biden's team wants to do, or the Democrats. It's just not going to happen. I mean, we're already having a tough time even getting 10 Democrats to sign on to their own agenda, and I'm talking about Joe Manchin, I'm talking about Kristen Sinema, and it's a few more, obviously, that's in the Democratic Party that stands in the way of their own agenda. But it just goes to say, are they even Democrats? I think that's a fair question to ask, because it seems like, I mean, even Biden said the other day, it seems like you have a few Democrats that are in lockstep with the Republican Party. Then why are you in the Democratic Party? That's my whole thing. Why are you even in the party? if you're not going to sign on to what the administration wants you to sign on to, then why are you a Democrat? You know, vice versa with the Republicans. Why, if you have all these conservative values and, you know, the old GOP, and, you know, you don't know your party anymore because it has turned into the Trump party and all that, then why are you a Republican? And that just goes to show you politicians just being politicians. They don't care about anything that does not have to do with their own self-interest and their donors' interest. They can give a damn about the people. And yeah. But let's read another one, guys. This is from Jamal Bowman, and I think that this honestly feeds off of what I was just saying. He says, my office has reached out to Senator Manchin multiple times to discuss how we can best serve the American people. We are still waiting on a reply. Senator Manchin isn't interested in engaging in a conversation on the filibuster. He is interested in serving a corporate agenda. And again, guys, that's what it seems like. A lot of these so-called Democrats, particularly moderate Democrats, are worried about serving their corporate donors. I mean, it's just that simple. And it's sad to see. It's frustrating. Again, the only way to really have it not to be a thing in Washington is to get money out of politics. I mean, that's going to be the only way to have people in office doing the right thing, because it's so much corruption in Washington, D.C. on both sides that it holds up any kind of structural change to everyday people lives. And it's really sad to see. Let's see. Trying to find one more, guys, before we end this social media break. Let's see. I got a bunch of NBA playoffs on my Twitter, guys, and so I'm trying to keep from reading that. You know, I'm not trying to bore you guys with that, or maybe you guys want to hear that. I don't know. Okay, here's one. Political polls from Twitter says Biden job approval. 61 approve and 39% disapprove. You're going to see that drop if Biden doesn't get a grip of his agenda, and if he doesn't get a grip of his party, because he's slowly fading away, and that's not good. He's slowly not doing anything but talking. So that's a high number. That's a good number. And not saying again that Biden isn't or hasn't did anything good, but he's going to have to get on the ball and move bolder and bigger with these with his agenda, or he's going to suffer defeat, and the whole party, quite frankly, is going to suffer defeat in 2022 and 2024. But that wraps it up for the social media break, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed our little break half. We'll come back with the second part of the show where I give you guys my take on the article in the first half. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So this is the second half of the show. This is my vibe, if you will, on the article that we read in the first half. My vibe on the article, guys, is Democrats, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Joe Manchin, what are you doing? Kristen Sinema, what are you doing? Are you guys even like Democrats? Are you guys like um disguising yourselves as Democrats because you don't want to come out as Republicans? I don't know. I don't know. But all I know is that this stalled agenda because um at the end of the day, it's Biden's agenda. And Biden's agenda is being stalled. Uh, Biden is helping that a little bit by not taking a bolder um, measure on getting these things that he wants passed in his agenda done. Um, Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema are two of the Democrats' senators that are keeping Joe Biden's agenda stalled. And inevitably, it's going to get the Democrats defeated in the midterms next year. It's going to get them defeated in the 2024 presidential run. Because again, they always are in their own way. They have these political stances and these types of bills that are uh, vastly supported by most Americans in this country. And they don't want to take an aggressive measure because they're concerned about this falseness of bipartisanship. And again, guys, I'm going to say this again, this falsehood of bipartisanship. And the reason I call it false bipartisanship is because they've been looking for bipartisanship and they haven't got any from the other side. Okay? They have not gotten any type of bipartisanship. Mitch McConnell said in his own words, his party is 100% in on stopping Joe Biden's agenda. Mitch McConnell, the Senate minority leader, said this out of his own mouth. And you got Joe Manchin, senators like Joe Manchin, Democrat out of West Virginia, that seems to be compromised because he doesn't want to end the filibuster because he's saying that it's going to quote unquote ruin things, with the relationship with the Republicans and all that. And he doesn't even believe his own message. Because a stalled agenda for Joe Manchin, this is my opinion now, guys. A stalled agenda on him, it's not hurting him. Universal health care is not hurting him. A higher federal minimum wage in this country It's not hurting him. Like he's not concerned about that. He doesn't care that West Virginia, his own state, it seems, he doesn't care that West Virginia is the poorest state in the country. So obviously, higher work wages within that state would be sufficient to the people who live there, wouldn't it? And it shows that West people that live in West Virginia, um, are in support of a higher minimum wage. But Joe Manchin isn't. And we have to ask ourselves, guys, why? Kristen Sinema, senator out of Arizona, who will always notoriously be known for her embarrassing, shameful thumbs down on the Senate floor that could have risen the federal minimum wage to a living wage in this country. She sided with the Republicans, along with 7 other senators in the Democratic Party who voted no also. And again, guys, we have to ask ourselves, the people who we elect in these positions, if they have changed up, then they're not who they say they were, obviously. So we have to hold them accountable. And right now it seems like Joe Manchin, senators like Joe Manchin, Kristen Sinema, a few other Democrats, moderate Democrats, I might add, within the party, who seems to be lockstep with the Republican Party. Joe Biden himself said that it was Democrats within the party who seem to be more lockstep with the Republican Party than they are their own party. Joe Biden, if you know this, why aren't you taking more bolder action? And again, it all comes down to this falseness of this bipartisanship that's not there. Mitch McConnell, the minority leader for the Republican Party in the Senate, filibustered. He blocked a quote unquote bipartisan, since we like to use bipartisan all the time, a bipartisan January 6th commission bill, a bill that would have an independent investigation into the insurrection that took place on January 6th of this year. Republicans blocked that. Republicans in the Senate blocked that. And Joe Manchin is still saying you don't need to get rid of the filibuster or not even reform the filibuster because he believes that his colleagues on the other side will do the right thing. And once again, guys, we have to ask ourselves, the filibuster, how it's been used, is for racially purposes. It's been used to stop civil rights legislation. That's what it was designed to do, guys. If you go back in history and read or look at that stuff, um, that's the purpose that the filibuster was designed to be used for. And you would think that that would be able to sway the Democrats into terminating the filibuster or at least reforming it. But no, because they're looking for this, again, false bipartisanship. that's clearly not even a little bit wanted from the other side, from the Republican Party. And I got to give the Republicans their props. They're being straight up and saying how they feel about Biden's agenda. They're being straight up about how they feel about other important matters concerning legislation. And the Democrats seem to be having closed door negotiations to look for bipartisanship. Like it's honestly ridiculous. It's sad, it's frustrating, and you know, again, I'm gonna go back to Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema. They seem to be compromised because if you can't tell these people who hold tremendous power that's supposed to be for democracy that the filibuster was racially used to stop civil rights legislation, like passing HR 1, for example. That fundamentally protects democracy. Why wouldn't Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema get on board with that? It's because they're compromised. And again, let's say if that's not what it was used for, saying that it is used to protect the status quo from change that might hurt them economically, that might be what it's about. And it's showing with Joe Manchin and it's showing with Kristen Sinema. And it's not just them. But all I know is this: Democrats are on the clock, and it seems like history is repeating itself all over again. And the Democrats have not learned from their mistakes. And, you know, Jamal Bowman, Democrat out of New York, one of the progressives, the few progressives um, in the party, made a great point on Twitter. He said this 2 days ago. He said when Donald Trump cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, it wasn't bipartisan. Not a single Democrat voted in favor. There's no reason that we need to be bipartisan in repealing that tax cut. We need to dispense of the myth that bipartisanship serves Republican voters or constituents. Who it really serves are corporate donors and special interests. I mean, it can't be put any more better than that. And that's what it is. At the end of the day, you have corrupt politicians on both sides. Because we got to remember, guys, if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat, things like universal health care, student debt cancellation, higher work wages, that is vastly popular with everyone in America. And so again, we have to ask ourselves, are these people who we put in these powerful positions, are they serving our interest or are they serving their corporate donors' interest? And it seems to be stalling Biden's agenda. When we come back, guys, we're gonna close out the show. That was my vibe on that article. Curious to see what it transpires from here. Um, like they said, they want to have a bill done by July 4th. We shall see. But when we come back, guys, we will close the show. Stay tuned. Hey guys, just going to wrap it up for today's show. I want to thank the listeners again who like and share and donate to the show. It is, again, very greatly appreciated. Love you guys. We will be back next Sunday with a brand new episode of The Progressive Vibe. So stay tuned for that, guys. And once again, have something you want me to discuss on the podcast, use the hashtag TPVibe on Twitter, or you can send me a message on the contact form on the show's website. Want to stay in touch with the show, if you want to stay in touch with the show, you can enter your email address in the stay in touch box on the podcast website. And also, if you want to help us make the show and sustain for future episodes, become a monthly supporter, guys, on the show's website. The show's website, The Progressive Vibe 184970366.wordpress.com. Again, that's The Progressive Vibe 184970366.wordpress.com. Or if you want to make a one-time contribution, you can do this on the show's Cash App. The show's Cash App tag is Dottie D92. That's DAHDEE 92 DAHDEE 92. Had a blast, guys. I love you all. Until next time, this episode is sponsored by Anchor.fm. Anchor.fm is the easiest way to make a podcast. If you want to learn more to make your own podcast, go to Anchor.fm to learn more to get started. I'm your host, Dottie. It's been a blast as always, guys. Until next time, stay positive out there, stay safe, stay progressive, and I'll catch you in the next one.